Well, here we go again, my friends. Welcome. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It ain't don't cost you anything. Let's build this community together. But anyways, I wanted to say welcome and good evening. Uh, Today's just another episode of Just Another Conversation, and today's the episode 16th, not 60, episode 16. Now, as you all know, I'm always here unprepared. I have nothing to say. Uh, for the first couple minutes, it's so very important, but I do get into it in details later on. Story has its beginning and it has its, and somewhere in the middle is where everything happens. And of course, I want to cheers to all of you and wish you good luck, all the best in life. Please, please do me a favor. Love love your family, your friends, especially your family, your kids, your wife, if she's a good one. Uh, and don't put yourself down. Give yourself a chance, always. And by the way, that's why my Mr. Celery and mint parsley tea thinks. Because when I drink it, it's good for you. Oh, that's funny. Well, thank you. That's so kind. I guess I look like a cheeseburger then. Ah, well. I'll probably sound like one too when you eat it. Anyways, thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead subscribe. So here's the here's the topic of the night that I really want to talk about. All right. Anyways, so what I do want to talk about is, let's see what we got. I do want to talk about narcissism because there are a few things that kind of remind me of that at times. Nobody really close to me, but I do want to talk about narcissism, and I also want to talk about people who don't recognize other people's, I guess, hard work, even though that happened 10, 15, or 20 years ago. It doesn't matter when. And also, I want to talk about, does having a job really make you who you are as a person? Do you only have to be respected if you have a job and you're contributing? Is that the only thing that everybody has to worry about? Does that make you a human versus those who don't contribute? Or I'm not even talking about contribution. Let's just talk about having a job. Because if you do have a job, you would contribute. So you can't contribute if you don't have one, but you can also contribute without a job. There are many other ways you can contribute to a family, to a society without having a job. Okay? You can volunteer in the libraries, you can volunteer helping other people, elderly. You can do a lot of work in your house while your wife is working. You could do, there's so many things that you can do. And the thing what really bugs me the most about most people, not most people, you know that's what I mean, some people. That's just the saying, most people. Let's start off with this appreciation of your hard work that's no longer existing, but it has in the past, and which had helped many, many people. And now those same people that you have helped years ago don't recognize your hard work, right? Even though it's happened some time ago, at the moment you might be very unlucky. You can't find a job and you feel down, but you can't help your loved ones or whatever it is, right? But just remember, though, there were days that you gave it all you had, every single fucking piece of you, to everybody around you that you respected and you loved, and you still do. And not even then you were respected. Maybe an occasional thank you or something like that, but never really a good hug and a nice word. We can change the world with nice words. Some people just don't understand the power of a damn word. It's not something that you just say and then throw it away like a weed. I know that it's helped me. And just think of this. If you're at the workplace and you're doing something, whatever that is that you do at your workplace, and someone comes up to you and you had an absolutely shitty fucking day, like terrible day, and someone just goes, could be anybody, walks by your little cubicle, knocks, and it says, "Hey, I've noticed you're doing a really good job today." Now, by somebody just telling you that, when you've had a really shitty day, it makes all the difference in the damn world. You see, that is something that we lack, not just in society, but in families in general. Hey, Senator Tall, please, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. But thank you for stopping by. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Now, there's a lot of people that come and go, whatever. I had some dude the other day. I don't know. I'm guessing it was a dude. Like, only a man can say something stupid like that. But I guess something along the words, and it meant to say it towards me. But whoever this was, a ghoul or people come over here and I think they can embarrass me, say something that's going to make me angry or whatever it is, man. I'll tell you what, there's nothing. Oh, okay, cool, man. Cool, Sans. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Much love. What was I? Yes. So just a couple episodes ago, I was here just talking about life and unfortunate events in life and things like that, and someone commented and said along these words. I don't remember exactly what it was, um, but this person said um, basically that I spread religious lies and educated something about homosexuality and something blah blah blah. Well, I first of all never talk about genders or sexuality or anything like that. It might cross my mind and say something to do with that, but I don't talk about it because I don't want to offend anybody. I don't have any, uh, I'm not in the business to hurt anyone. And first of all, another thing is religion. I try not to talk about religion because the reason why I am here in this country is because of religion. And if I can turn back time and jump into a time machine, I I could almost guarantee you that there's no way in hell that I'll be spending a minute in the United States. But unfortunately, my father years ago wanted to bring me here. I'm not blaming him for that. I'm blaming no one. I'm just saying he followed some people who promised him this and that and this and that. It never came true. It never came to manifest or confess or whatever the hell it is how you say it. And then I ended up being a victim of those promises, empty promises, and I was too young to even bring my own decisions and say what I wanted to say. Even though I stood in front of the train and cried like a thousand rains, and all my friends that were there to support me and tell me, "Hey, man, don't go to the United States. Don't just stay here. This is where you belong. We're all here to support you." And they had this giant picture of a bass guitar, and because I play bass or whatever, and we were in a band. And we had a great fucking time. And then I got a slap in the face and said, "No, you are fucking going to the United States." I'm like, "Oh no, oh shit." I didn't speak a word of language that time, you know. And the thing is this: where I come from, you gotta respect your father, man. It's like what father says, it is absolute amen. There's nothing that can overwrite your father's words. Not where I come from. Definitely not. Hey, great. Well, then continue to stay, and maybe you will fall asleep. So let's hope that happens. Thank you, Sans. That's beautiful. That's some poetry right there. Now make sure you write that down because this just wonderful poetry, man. Definitely is. Maybe I should be in business of putting people to sleep. What do you think? So, anyways, let's continue. Um, I also want to say, people are where they are because of certain people or certain events. Now, I'm not going to only talk about kind words and narcissism. Narcissism really is, God, it's the dirtiest, most terrible thing that can happen to a human being. Just the most, God, it just makes me want to puke all over the word narcissism. I just hate it so much. But anyways, the events in people's lives are what pretty much decides their faith. And you could be in a place in time and really love that place. I was there once. I was in a place in a time where I really fucking loved everything and everybody. And of course, I wasn't an adult. I was a child, which I don't know, 16 years old. You'd probably say that's a child or a teen or whatever it is. And as I've seen in the United States, something that a 16 or 17 or 18-year-old can say to their parents, if I would have said that back then, I would have gotten my ass kicked. Absolutely, up and down, no no questions asked. And that is why I didn't really fight my father over whatever he had to say to me. Hey, you want to go to the fucking moon? Fine, I'm gonna follow you. You want to go to the goddamn Mars or whatever it is? I'll follow you. That's that's how much father means where I come from. There is no such thing here as respecting your goddamn parents, your father, your mother. It is completely gone out the window. Parents are parents are they only exist in this world, in this country. To me, I feel like parents only exist in a sense of a word parent. Okay? Because that would have really not create future leaders that we have now in the world. It would create better leaders in us as humans. To have first respect for your parents and then go from there. That's the first level of respect that you have to learn. And if you don't have that, you're going to be lost for the rest of your life. You're not going to respect anyone, and they're not going to have respect back. It's just going to take you to a nowhere land. So you gotta really learn to respect your parents, then yourself, or maybe yourself first, then your parents. It depends what age you are. Now, don't fall asleep yet. Let me take a sip. Now, I do want to talk about narcissism. Um, I hate the word so much that I don't want to say it. It hurts me to say it. I really do. But it does exist. It's out there. And it's out there. It's an illness. I don't think it's so much a purpose. I don't think it's something that people really, really choose to be. I don't think they want to control you, disrespect you. Um, I don't know, like not notice good things that you do, take things for granted. Those are things that narcissists do. Is that fixable? Well, no, it is not fixable because you can't fix that person, right? Or the only thing you can do is probably not pay too much attention because it's really not important. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. How old's your brother? And look, I don't know why families fight. People say families fight because there's love, right? They care. They want to help each other. Well, that's not good. Nobody in your family should be calling anybody names like narcissist. You want to sit down, you know, me as a father personally, what I would never call. First of all, I don't think I've ever even called my son any bad words ever. But I do want to say is that's something that fathers really shouldn't say. I don't know. It's just narcissist is it's just a really strong word. It can really destroy someone, um, especially somebody younger. Um, if my dad was about to throw those words at me when I was that age, um, it definitely would have hurt me because it was so important to me what my father had to say that if he even said that, something negative like that, it would have definitely, it would, I would question whether I should say something back or not. The best thing is to, because if you know self worth and who you are, it doesn't matter what others have to say. Do you see? It doesn't really matter. And it also kind of matters what other people see from outside. You know, here you have two people, one calls each other names, but then you have a third party on the sidelines who's watching this whole thing happen. Now, that third person is the person that sees it all, that can say, hey, wait a minute, you're wrong. Stuff like that. I don't even know how someone that's that age can even be a narcissist. Because when you're that young, when I was that age, many other people, we make mistakes, we do stupid things. I've done so much dumb stuff. My father, he never, you know, he did. I was punished, for sure. But I knew when I made a mistake. You know, I never got a beating from my father or anything like that unless I really messed up hardcore. Yeah. Oh, hey, look. Uh, just I don't think it's possible for youngsters and teen and to act narcissistic. Because first of all, we don't understand the meaning of the word. Number one. Number two. Well, of course, you can look everything up nowadays on Google. Uh, but young, for example, me when I was that age, I said some things that might have sounded like that. I might have done some things that did sound narcissistic or what, or selfish, or but that is just when you're that young, you go through those changes. When you're young, you are challenging your father, your mother, your friends, your because you want to discover who you are and you don't know who you are yet. And that's why you need a support instead of harsh words. Unfortunately, I remember when I had my first earring back in 90s. I remember I had an earring. I was one of the few kids in school that had an earring. My father was so strictly against it. He was the manly man. As a matter of fact, my mother took me to the ear piercer all the way into Croatia, and which wasn't that far from me. It was only about 2 hours drive, like from let's say from where I live to Detroit or something like that, right? But um, when I got my first earring, I wanted to show to the whole world that I'm rebellious, that I want to be who I want to be, because it's my right. It's my right to be who I want to be. That's just how it goes. Some people become that and then they never change. Some people do that and they change later on. They say, well, why did I have an earring? That was so stupid of me. You know, what, like what? You're talking about earring? No. No. I, it's just not a nice word, honestly. I mean, because those are, like I said earlier, that is when every person of that age this goes through this discovery of themselves, and parents need to be able to understand that. You see, um, my father didn't allow me having an earring. He just was against it. He saw me. He came out of work. I was at home. I already had an earring, and back then, the times were kind of different when you're living in Eastern Europe, and that was extra rebellious when someone had an earring or dyed your hair or something like that. Back in those days, where I come from at least, those were rebellious things, and those are big no-nos. Like earrings or dyeing your hair, or people nowadays do all sorts of things with like plastic surgeries and all that stuff. But back then, where I come from, that was people will shun you like forever because you had an earring. No, for what? No, that's okay. You're okay. Um, so if you haven't subscribed, I said go ahead and subscribe. And let's continue. Uh, so if you are going through changes and someone in your family doesn't understand that, well, tough shit, or that's just what's gonna happen, and you either accept it or you don't. Uh, you know, my parents, like my mother, was always supportive of me doing things. Um, there were many, many things that happened in my family that I don't want to disclose. There was a lot of ugliness too, and it happens in the families. But at the same time, they're your parents. If they're not my parents, for back in the day when I was getting beat and hit with a belt, and because I didn't listen, for me that was normal. Back in those days, that's how they raise kids over in Eastern Europe. Here, that's not a good thing. I don't know whether that's the law or just the lack of education. I think, it would be better to sit down and talk to your child nowadays, if you can get through to them, than to either spank them or hit them or anything like that, which I don't agree at all with. Um, but some people, some kids just don't listen. You know, um, you can tell them, hey, 100 times, hey, don't drink and drive. They're still gonna do it. Or don't take drugs. They're still gonna do it. And it always seems the more you say it, the worse it gets. And at some point, you just kind of have to stop because it just kind of ricochets, it bounces off. And um, well, first of all, I would like the fact that I did put on this app, first of all, I did talk about the narcissism. And so sometimes you can't avoid narcissism, it just is there. Some people go through it for the rest of their lives. People with them never change. Sometimes you just have to either leave, you have to decide whether you can leave or stay. Um, but nice, kind word helps. Um, it's nice to recognize someone's hard work and say, hey, thank you for doing this or thank you for doing that. And it makes a huge difference to that person that you are actually telling them when they're doing a great job, when they're something, whatever is good that there is that they're doing. It's always good to recognize that and say it. I've done so many stupid things when I was younger. I had to ask myself a question like, my parents, did they have a really, really hard time dealing with me? Or was it um, that I stopped acting that way at some point, and they stopped either telling me because I have fixed my life along the way, or they just didn't care and they didn't say anything anymore. So, you know, either or. Now, today's world is harsh. It doesn't seem to me like we're gonna get too far as humanity, honestly. I mean, just I've stopped watching news altogether because it just doesn't, I don't hear any good anymore. Um, I watch like antique shows and I don't know, movies and whatever I can, something educational. It's always good, you know, like History Channel or some kind of story related thing. And I always said before, like if you have something that really bothers you, um, something inside you, within you, and I would say that to anybody, the best thing is to put that down on the paper and write it down. Because it's what I have almost always done, especially as of recent, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. I just like to put things on the paper. Whatever it is that bothers me inspires me at the same time. And I've started writing a book. I'm like about, well, 300 to 400 pages. I'm writing a novel right now. And I'm probably not going to be done for another 6 months to a year. Because as I'm writing, I'm starting to remember all the things that I've kind of forgotten as I've gotten older. Um, and that's why the story is getting so long. I've had uh, my idea was to write like a short story, or like a lot of like what do you call those, like not a biography but more like a book about your memories and things like that. Um, and I wasn't planning on a book to be that long. It's just as when I started writing, just one thing comes and then another, and I'm like, oh wow, well this happened, and just I feel like I'm overdoing things now. And I guess I haven't been writing for very, very many years. I'm a pretty new writer when it comes to writing novels, when it comes to poetry, I've been writing poetry for, I don't know, 15 years plus now. And I have some poetry that's published, nowhere major. It's just a few smaller magazines here and there. Um, and I can tell you, because this is just another conversation, and I'll talk about really anything that comes to my mind. So if you are a writer, and if you are writing a novel or you're writing a short story, don't, because memories are going to start. If you're writing fiction, well, that's kind of different. But if you're writing true story, right, then try, if you can, not to remember every small thing that's happened, because it's just gonna get to the point where it might get overwritten. I guess if that's the word, and then you're gonna end up with I don't know, 600 700 page of book or something like that, like mine might be. And so I'm really trying to cut the book short. Like I don't want to write too much stuff. Even if the memories keep coming back, I still want to put only those things that I really feel like have impacted my life in a way. Sorry about your cat. That's terrible. Um, I had a cat, and my cat died too. I had two of them actually. Um, but when it comes to poetry, see, that's the thing. Poetry versus actually writing a novel they're two completely different things. Poetry, you actually have that space, the room to remember and to kind of predict and put it on the paper. In poetry, there's so much room to do whatever you want to do. There's no limits in where I come from. Because if you're writing just this like a simple poetry, that's I call it simple poetry. What is simple poetry to me? It's just boring poetry. Like I'll give you an example. I was walking down the street. I've looked it down. I've looked at it. I've looked it down onto the ground, and there was a butterfly who saw the worm, and the worm said something back to the butterfly. But there's a cloud and the rain. The rain didn't understand what the cloud wanted to say. Something like that, right? Just simple poetry. Very methodical, very traditional poetry. And I don't like traditional poetry in there because it's very limited. And I usually go live like around this time every night, like midnight or something like that. Not every night, just sometimes, whenever I feel like. So, but if you're, that's why poetry is the best, is because you can take the depths of your story and apply it into the paper and make it metaphorically. Uh, you can make metaphorical uh, statements, right? And if you're speaking metaphorically, the story of your poem or the meaning in each sentence can be as deep as you want it, no limits. And that's why poetry, versus just traditional writing like novels or memoriams and or you know science fiction stuff like that. Um, I'm not really a science fiction writer, although I could write a science fiction. I could write science fiction, but it's not my thing. Now I do want to come back to why I was here in the first place. Um, Words can change people. And I mean, you can be a wounded person and be running on gas, on fumes, as I say, not gas, on fumes. You could be a person that's running on fumes. Your whole life could be falling apart, but that one person can suddenly come into your life and change everything by just saying a word, a kind word. Um, it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen in life. Yeah. And I'm saying this to all of you who are listening. And it goes very far. And another thing that I also do believe that apology is used a little too much. It is nice to acknowledge when you feel sorry about something. Okay? And I think that's important. But you know, let's say you're in a room of people, and you're accidentally, you know, touching someone with your shoulder or something like that. You know, scrubbing against them, or people say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry for this. Oh, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that." And it's just gonna become. It's almost as if you're listening to the same song over and over and over again on the radio. You know, the first time that song has a lot of meanings, but then when you hear it 100 times, it just loses that. You know, that's why that I'm sorry doesn't even have a meaning anymore. It's lost it because it's been overused, overcompensated. So, um, another otherwise word, as much as it can be really helpful, can be just as harmful. You know, everybody knows that. It's as simple as that. People nowadays don't understand the power of it. It is words are very powerful. Just really, 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 really deeply powerful. And there's no other buts or ifs about it. You can change someone's life by saying just one word, and that's it. And their life will change. Some people are just that sensitive. You know, it just doesn't matter what age you are. You could say something to a 70, 80-year-old man, which is going to take it a little bit better than someone younger in their 40s or 30s or 20s. No matter. People are people. We got soul, we got feelings. So if those words are tended to, if someone has intended for a word to hurt you, you just have to plain and simple avoid it. Whoever is it out there, I don't care what age, what tradition, what nationality, what religion you are, a word can change you for good, but it can also hurt you forever. Just one word. Can you even believe the meaning of two words or more? If someone said 3 or 4 words, then you're forming a sentence. No, that's a really powerful sentence then. That's not just one word. Now you have a whole sentence. Now, that's dangerous. So you have to really, and also you can create a person with those words. You can, it's like creating a profile of some person on, let's say, Facebook or a video game, someone that you love dearly, you can change them by telling them certain things. Like they're not good enough, or their hair doesn't look good, or any kind of criticism about their look, their attitude, that it's actually not true, can put those people in a trance from which they wouldn't be able to get out from. And that is dangerous. And then you are creating a person that's not good. That person is ever going to be angry, and it's going to want to get back at you. Not to get involved in any kind of argument with anybody. Know your own worth. Don't fall for fish hooks, and I don't know, some people are going to throw something at you that you're going to fall for, and then the argument will begin. And when the argument begins, it's hard to, when the argument begins, it's hard to stop, period. So, nobody wants to get to that point. Because what happens, you stress. And when you stress, is when your life is going to change. You can't function under stress. Nobody can. I can't function with stress when I'm stressed out. So it's really important that we really pay attention to ourselves, take care of ourselves, our health, our mind, and our soul. Do a good diet, good eating, good exercise. Um, but bottom line is stress. It can really, really hurt you. Stress and some bad words, kind of combination of those can actually very much hurt you. I know some people that I've met in my life, you know, who I thought I knew, but I never did, I guess, who have changed just like that because of someone else. So we're gonna end tonight's show. We're about that time, 48 minutes. I'm usually less than an hour, about an hour. Sometimes I feel like it gets the talks get talk gets a little too long, but that's because I don't go on every night. I'm pretty much just doing this for my own, and of course, whoever wants to join to listen to something that could help them in life. I'm just trying to help uh, along in the process to people who are affected with same issues like I am, or other people out there. Whether you are, it doesn't matter what nationality or where you come from or what color you are. I hope that someone can learn something from something I would say, and that's why I'm here. And I'm also here for myself because I feel it's good to, I guess, let it roll out. So, and that's why it's called Just Another Conversation. And I'll let it roll out. It feels good. And if someone learns something, that's good. And if someone doesn't learn anything, well, maybe it's not the place for you. But I do have to go. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate everyone that's been here tonight and yesterday. All of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. Um, all of you have subscribed today. When I was in the woods, when I took my dog for a walk, I had a small video. And thank you also for subscribing. Um, and I think, I'm not sure, but I do want to make another live tomorrow. Please take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Listen to the ones. Help your ones. And most important, take care of yourself because nobody will. And you all have a great evening. And ciao. Much love. Thank you.